Today's video is going to be talking about converting your presentation into some other format, whether it's for another program or just to use outside of PowerPoint. We're going to be looking at quite a few formats. And we're going to move right to a presentation to show those various format names. Okay. Basically, once your presentation is done, you'll go to Save File As, put in your path, if it's different, your title, and then instead of saving it as a PowerPoint, you can either hit the More Options drop down, or the More Options choice, which is the same as hitting this drop down arrow for this little dialog box here. And what happens, you get a drop down of about almost 30 different choices. And we're going to go through those choices. And there's 5 more. We're going to go through those at this point. You all know the PPTX suffix is PowerPoint. It's the late model version of PowerPoint. As you can see, PPTM is for a macro-enabled presentation. We'll get into macros in a later presentation. The straight PPT extension is the older, as you can see, is an older presentation. The newer versions will bring it into the current presentation format. PDFs is the Adobe, part of the Adobe system. It's called Portable Document Format. That's where you basically want to lock your presentation into some manner so that no one can change it. I did not look up what an XPS is, so we can't talk about that one. A template is something we use to set up our backgrounds. And this is another version. I think this is an older version of macro-enabled templates, as is this one. Office theme, we won't talk about. PPSX is an older presentation format that would only output your presentation in slideshow view to hand off to someone else. It's an older format, probably won't see much of those, but that's what it is. Very similar to the PPSM and the PPS. You can see the similarities there. And then an add-in is like a small program that would go on top of your existing PowerPoint program. Moving to the next set. Not that far. Oh, we just talked about the add-ins. XML, I think, is a computer program. I'm not real sure what that one is. And MP4, we're all familiar with it. That is, I looked it up, as the Moving Picture Experts Group. It's a movie output, and it's the current standard. What this does is takes all of your transitions, all of your animations, all of your fancy work you've done, and exports it basically into a movie that someone else can just watch on their computer or on their television. And that conversion time depends on, of course, your PC and your memory, but also how big your file is. So it could take a few minutes or it could take many minutes. This is Windows Basic Media Format, .wmv. The GIF stands for Graphics Interchange Format. It's basically covers static images in a lossless format. Next is the infamous JPG that a lot of us are familiar with. It stands for, oh, I looked it up earlier. I think it's Joint Photographic Group. But basically it's a picture. And the only difference between it and a JPEG was that the JPEG came out first, and Windows wanted all of the extensions to be 3 character, more or less. So that's why it went from JPEG to JPG. Star PNGs are portable network graphics. They're either transparent or semi-transparent backgrounds, and they're used a lot by web designers, but also even people that are not doing web design work, because an image with a clear background is very useful. You don't have to worry about matching the color. TIFF is tag image file format. It says that it's mostly used by photographers as a way to store high quality images before you edit them, and it avoids lossy formats. So that's more for photographers. BMP is a bitmap. It was designed by Microsoft for Windows. It's still used in their Paint program. It's a real generic painting program where you can modify pictures or anything else and then save it in this format to be used in some other program. So it's BMP, real basic. WMF is Windows Metafile. Not real sure what that is. And same with the enhanced Windows Metafile. And as we head to the bottom, I'm not sure what the scalable vector graphics format is. I believe that's to dealing with pictures, I believe. I'm not real sure. I'm not 100%. The RTF stands for rich text format. I'm almost positive it deals with the older Macintosh graphical formats. Used it many years ago when we were on Windows, and part of our corporation was on Macintosh. So that's what an RTF is. We've already talked about PPTX. And this last one, open document presentation, I'm almost positive this is dealing with Open Office, which is similar to the Microsoft Office suite, has its own presentation software that you can share between the two documents and do what you want to after that point. So as far as references, I've used some experience, did quite a few through Google, and then I also looked up some on Wikipedia. And this reference here, I found out there were about maybe 100 or 200 different extensions, different formats that are out there in the computer world. So hopefully that will help you if you want to go back and export your presentation to another format. You know where to do it now, and it's just a matter of finding which one you want to use. I did forget to mention on the JPG format, when you drop down and get to it and you save it, it gives you two options, whether you want to do just the current slide that you're on or all the slides. If it's the current slide, they'll put it in the folder that you specify. If you say all the slides of the presentation, it will make another folder based, I believe, on the name of the first slide and put all of those multiple slides as JPGs inside that new folder. So be aware of that. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward, not real hard. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. We'll get back with you. Thank you much. See you on the next video.